Presentation and performance fascinate me. I wanted to create an experience, a bit of theatre that people would remember, not just because of its creativity or small ingenuity, but because of something different they felt about the interaction, something conceptual and personal at the same time. My name is Guy Goodbody. I am an artist and also a company owner, helping people construct their private spaces, their homes. There is a lot of problem solving and solution finding at an emotional and practical level in my day-to-day work, and this almost certainly feeds into my art. I think above all it allows me to explore both the relationship between materials and people and the material itself, and it's actually a really useful skills marriage because I get to witness a simulation. I get to see how things impact on people's lives. Gallery 1 is primarily a conceptual exhibition, 5 distinct rooms, not unlike a residential space, that give progressively more personal information about my life and at the same time a window onto other perspectives and realities. The idea that if we challenge our assumptions about what things are, that we might find a more productive or sustainable way of interacting with our environments. The first room is really about finding the inner child in all of us again, that period in our lives when we're in discovery mode, when putting things in our mouth, opening whatever we can, taking things apart. That time when everything is exciting, new. And rather than showing protected objects, as it were, sculptures on pedestals, I wanted to include pieces that people could interact with, so they could discover something about the materials, the weight, the sound of the wood, for example, and then perhaps become more receptive to the ideas they explore. And it was great to see this interaction. There was a lot of play going on. I think there was definitely a novelty factor. Many of the visitors know me as a painter, but not as an object creator. It added a dimension, a bit of drama that surprised people. And probably encourage more interaction and curiosity as a result. The objects are a collection of materials. The wood is largely waste from timber suppliers or from a fallen tree in my parents' garden, for example. Then slip-cast mugs, which were a novelty element for the exhibition. These were conceived about 3 years ago and technically very challenging for the pottery. I was incredibly fortunate to find a team in Chiltern Pottery who not only had the know-how, but also the patience to think around the project. To find creative solutions that aren't typically needed for industrial pottery. The next 2 rooms are of oil paintings in different formats and styles, some abstract figurative hybrids, some more clearly abstracts that aim to capture both the unseen world and the inner landscape of my head. I'm drawn to romantic artists, and one of the paintings in this room is very much in line with 19th century artist John Martin, who produced these massive paintings that have gone on to influence 20th century film. His works were literally the backdrops for early sound and light shows that the public paid to see, and although I'm not trying to replicate this, I did want to encourage a degree of interactivity as far as I could. One piece, The Pillars of Creation aerial view, is probably the best example because it suggests that if the viewer looks at the part of the painting, they get the full effect of the celestial formation. It's been painted with a glazing technique where the light mixes the pigments as it passes through the different oil layers. It's an exciting process and takes a long time to dry, and you never really know whether it's going to be a hit or a miss in the end. I love oil paint. Its flexibility, its robustness, and I find that not having trained to paint in the traditional sense quite liberating. I suppose in many ways I'm unbound by conventions and perhaps experiment more with the material as a result. The 4th room consists of drawings from a fictitious trip to the west coast of Ireland, a trip I had planned to do with my father, who is Irish. There is a field in psychology I'm interested in, the creation of false memories, how we unconsciously fill in details from images in particular, and how these lay the foundations for alternative narratives and the beliefs we hold throughout our lives. These drawings are obviously a false record, images acquired online, manipulated, and then presented as if they are a faithful record. It was interesting how people attach their own memories to these works as if they were familiar. In the same room, I've included a copy of one of Paul Henry's iconic paintings, Dawn, Killary Harbour. The last room is in many ways a culmination of the four before it. 3 paintings on an abstract concept of time and 3 paintings marrying colour theory and music theory together. This is the sort of problem solving I love, trying to find pictorial solutions to ideas that are difficult to convey. Yes, I think abstract art can be inaccessible, but encouraging people who may not typically engage with it to explore the style without those conceptions and prejudices even, that's really exciting.